So here's a figure from a theoretical model called the DEW. DEW stands for Direct and Indirect Effects Model of Writing. You don't have to know the name of the model, but I want you to actually look at this structure and then try to think about it in terms of the skills. And this I think, will be helpful for you to remember. So what you see in this figure is all the skills and knowledge that contribute to written composition or writing. So let's walk through a bit, right? So at the very top roof, there's written composition and reading comprehension. They're there at the top because these require all the skills below. Okay, so what they need immediately right underneath is text writing fluency, text reading fluency, and they're at the beam because they support written composition and reading comprehension. Now the two pillars that support the beam and the roof, let's look at the first pillar, lexical literacy. Lexical means word size. So word size, reading and writing skills. They are word reading and spelling. And they're in the pillar there because they are necessary for text writing, text reading, and written composition and reading comprehension. Okay, so that's lexical literacy pillar. The other pillar that supports the beam and the roof is called oral composition and oral discourse. So oral composition, you might not have heard of it. You can think of it in a simple way. It's composition, but it's done in oral language context. So instead of asking you to write about winter break, what if I ask you, right, to tell me about how your winter break was or your highlight of your winter break? And when you do that, that's really oral composition. And studies have shown that there's a huge variation among students how coherent or well developed their oral compositions are. And this is a predictor of how they will do in written composition, along with the lexical literacy skills, right? Now let's go back to the lexical literacy pillar. I want to highlight there that handwriting and keyboarding is there because that's absolutely necessary for written composition, right? Now let's look at the foundational stone below lexical literacy. What that represents is to support development of lexical literacy, what skills are needed? And those are code-related emergent literacy skills. And they include knowledge and awareness of orthography. Orthography here means letters, right? So knowing letter names, letter sounds, also different patterns such as different syllable types and digraphs and etc., right? And then for knowledge, that's phonological awareness. And morphology, that's morphological awareness. All these three pieces are needed for word reading and spelling skills development. Now moving on to the oral composition pillar, what are skills needed for oral composition? So why do some students present to you very coherent, interesting, engaging stories, for example, or tell you, about their winter break compared to other students is because they differ in higher order cognitions. Higher order cognitions include your reasoning skills, your ability to make inferences, your perspective taking. So that means your ability to understand different perspectives, right? My perspectives, author's perspective, the reviewer's perspective, the reader's perspective, different characters in those stories' perspective, right? So those are higher order cognition. And self-regulation includes setting goals, monitoring your own performance, self-reinforcement, etc. And then right underneath is foundational oral language skills, and they include your vocabulary knowledge, your grammatical knowledge, right? So that you can actually construct sentences. Now, at the very bottom are domain general cognitive skills or executive function, and they are at the very bottom because these are needed for everything above. So vocabulary learning, I need working memory, right? I also need a working memory for phonological awareness, etc., right? So that's why they're there.